Albert A. Wall, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. And to the Waitlist. Welcome to the Waitlist, right? Go ahead, sorry.
I feel it's because, we do hello, welcome home. It's like we need like a jingle or something, like a welcome to the Waitlist.
It just needs to be like whatever the whole music is for when you call member services. Like,
oh yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, just have that. I mean, if we had more time to do things like that, then we would. But
right.
But welcome to the Waitlist. For those that don't know, this is our version of a topic-based show. As all of you know, we tend to do the flavor of the week kind of show, right?
Yeah, we're more news and current events, I guess, usually. And this is it's not filler, but the whole point of it is because we're not going to be able to do our regular episodes for the next couple of weeks here. So we decided to pick a couple of topics and do some wait lists. So
yeah. And unfortunately, we still don't have Damon do it with us this week. I figured he would jump at the opportunity for our topic, but it's just it's not like he doesn't want to do it. He's busy. So
yeah, he said he really did try, but life is just getting in the way right now. So
it's fair enough. Yeah. So. We saw this question a couple episodes ago from Nathan, and Nathan had said, "You are now Imagineers. Pitch your idea for a Donald Duck ride." And so that's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to talk about what our ideas for a Donald Duck ride would be. It's kind of amazing to me, actually, that Donald Duck doesn't have his own ride. I mean, but to be fair, Mickey just got his own ride. Like it does feel like they really neglect the Fab Four there with rides.
It's weird when you think about it. Everything else in Disney has had it, but the most iconic things are Mickey and Minnie, Donald, Daisy, and Goofy. Yet you're right, up until this point, that like none of them have had dedicated rides, and Mickey's is the first.
And it's weird, right? Like, why wouldn't I mean, he's Mickey and Donald star pretty heavily in why am I blanking? Mickey's PhilharMagic, right? But that's like
PhilharMagic.
I feel like that doesn't count. I don't know why.
and Donald is also in the Grand Fiesta Tour in the Mexico Pavilion.
That is
that's
true.
Part of
that's true.
But that's the Three Caballeros, though, not just Donald.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, I agree. So I mean, I think there's a lot of ways you can go with this, but Trevor, do you want to start off with your idea? Because I know you had some thoughts here. Yeah.
Okay. So I'd been thinking about this a little bit since we saw the question, and like so keep in mind that as I'm going through all of this, understand that I've been thinking about the question, and it keeps coming in and out of my head. So this may sound fragmented at the start, but I'm hoping it will make sense. And so my initial thinking around a Donald Duck ride, and so to keep with first of all, okay, how would we design this ride? Well, I was thinking a roller coaster at first.
Oh, okay.
But the problem is, and I actually scrapped that. So I started off at roller coaster. And I scrapped that because I felt that there is like I was initially going off of Donald's like frantic nature, right? Like in a lot of the shows that he's in, he's usually doing something chaotic or it ends up like, he loses his temper, things go crazy and all that kind of stuff. But I realized that a roller coaster is actually not that good for storytelling because it is very fast and minus, planned stops, you can't really you can't tell a story nearly as effectively as you can with a slower moving ride. So that of course led me to trackless ride, which again I know we've talked about this before. Is we get trackless rides, but
listen, David's not here. You don't have to feel ashamed of it. I love the trackless rides. Give me more trackless. And
that's where I started thinking about the whole thing around Donald, or what really resonated for me with Donald, was I started remembering a lot of the old shows where it was like Donald versus Chip and Dale, or Donald versus Humphrey, the bear. I don't know if you remember when he was he was like the park ranger, and he was trying to stop Humphrey from doing stuff, or he was like, or no, he wasn't. No, there was one where he was the ranger, and then there was another one where he was like a camper, and Humphrey was like trying to steal his fish and everything, right?
Yeah.
And so like all of those, to me, that becomes like, I feel it's the kind of thing where you can have a couple of different variations on the story. So it's not always the same, like the same scenario that he's going through. It always starts as like, Donald is going out into the wilderness, right? And sometimes, and this is where it gets kind of like Star Tours-ish, where you get different paths, right? Okay. And that's where that's where I started thinking, hey, that's actually kind of a neat idea that, you could take Donald's, like a lot of the old cartoons that he was in, and because they all kind of fit that woods theme, like you could have the overarching theme of like I don't know. The name is escaping me, but I'm sure I can think of something funnier here as I'm talking, but like Donald's Woodland Adventure or something like that, right? And it starts with like you're going off into the woods. The aesthetic is very like redwood trees and like in the forest, and then you get into his car, like that old what is it? I'm escape like it's like an older
I know what you're talking about. I don't know off the top of my head though, but
I don't know what the style like. I want to say it's not Tin Lizzy, but it's like something like that, right? And so then like the car itself is like his car, and then you start going through the ride, and depending on which path you take, like you start off seeing like it starts nice enough as oh, hey, there's, Chip and Dale, or there's Humphrey or whatever. And you can hear, Donald's like kind of, talking or narrating. He may show up as, I think it would be actually cool to have like the new animatronics, like Donald Duck as a new one. So, very, lots of articulation in the movements and everything. And then, it starts off as that. And then as you go through the ride, and I know this is kind of, I haven't even been on Mickey's Runaway Railway, but I'm assuming this would kind of play out the same way, but it gets more chaotic. And then it results in, like Donald losing his temper at one point, and then the ride just goes, right? Like it goes from, kind of slow and whatever to, he's in every direction. You can hear him, yelling and back and forth and all that. And it's all like, the usual stuff that the crescendo of a lot of the Donald cartoons. And I don't think it has to be any more, or that's as complicated as I think it needs to be. Is you can take all of Donald's shorts. It doesn't need to be anything new. You can rehash those, but through these different trackless adventures. And that's my pitch for the ride.
So you want to base it on the old cartoons, not the
yes,
new ones.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so that makes sense. My daughter's really into some of the old Donald Duck cartoons, and where like you said, Chip and Dale were constantly kind of harassing Donald Duck. Yeah,
they weren't the good guy a lot of the times. They were just purely there to agitate Donald. Like, it wasn't that they were like, yeah.
Well, early on, like they didn't even talk, right? Like they just kind of like made the first like cartoon or two, like they just kind of made like little chipmunky noise, and then later they start talking. But I mean, there's ones where he tortures them too. Like the one that comes to mind is my daughter likes this one. She calls it the train one, where Donald has a scale train in his backyard, and he wants to expand it, and so he removes the tree that Chip and Dale are living in, and then he kind of tortures them. So like they do go back and forth a little bit, right? But but most of the time it's Chip and Dale giving Donald's getting Donald mad. So right, what were we gonna say?
I was just saying, it's fair play back and forth. It's not that one is, or it's not that Donald's the victim or Chip and Dale is, and that's why I think no matter how the ride ultimately plays out, it's always like by the end, it's, Donald, the typical, Donald voice, him like losing his temper, all that kind of stuff. So it all ultimately ends the same way, but there's like branching variations of what happens to him or who he runs into in the ride.
So what's your point of view on this ride? Like, you're not doing it from like Donald's point of view, right? Like, are you like, how do you end up in this ride? You know what I mean? Where you're like with Donald's doing this, like, did you say that? I might have missed that. I was
yeah. So my thinking was like I said, that the leading into the ride was kind of like, the whole premise of those cartoons was, Donald going off into the woods
off into the woods. Yeah. So we're just going off into the woods with him. Is that
exactly?
He's just like, hey, come camping with me or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's it doesn't have to be any more difficult than that. Is, and like I said, and that's where like the lead into it is, and I was thinking about like, when you and I were in line for Ratatouille, I was, I don't know if you remember, like I was busy like looking at everything, like all the little details is, that very much was like the setting the mood for the ride. And the difference with the Donald one would be, instead of it being like Ratatouille was very much like, the buildings in France and all that, is that, it's like you're kind of going into a forest, right? Like, there's like redwoods and it has that very nature theme, like you were walking into onto a forest set kind of thing. And then, yeah, like I said, is, the start of the ride is, here's Donald's car, and Donald, maybe starting the ride with, hey, come on, let's go camping or let's go into the woods. Right. And then that starts the whole thing. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I remember you saying the thing about the woods, but I didn't remember you saying that.
Yeah. So that's the hook of the whole thing, is it's not just random Donald things, because there's lots of scenarios where, like it's Donald at his house and stuff like that. This is particularly like going into the woods with Donald.
Okay.
Would be my thinking on it.
I like it. I think it's a cool idea. I think the trackless ride system really lends itself to like chaos, to the and you'll see that on all the trackless ride systems, right? Because like there's always one point on the ride where like all the cars are going in one way and then all of a sudden they all go in different directions, right? And because that's the freedom you have with those, right? Is you can, like you said, you can do a whole bunch. Each car can have a different experience, right?
But then, like I said, the thing for me too is the storytelling, because really, anything, just like Mickey, anything Donald Duck, there is always a storyline there. So,
sure, of course.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry. What were we gonna say?
No, I was going to say, what you got? Let's hear it.
I don't know, man. So here's the thing. Like, I'm torn here, right? Because I was going to go the route of trackless, but I also thinking to myself, what about a boat ride? Right? Like, like what about a boat ride?
Okay.
Now, given Donald like lives on a boat, right? But like you don't really see Donald actually boating. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, and he's
from time to time,
occasionally, but not a lot, right? Like, it's not like he's going on adventures as like a ship captain. In fact, in like the newer version of the cartoons, the Mickey shorts, there's one where they go out on a boat and Donald is like, I don't know how to sail. Like,
yeah, that's right. He says that Daisy just bought him the outfit and he didn't actually know how to drive the boat.
Yeah. So like I thought, okay, well maybe we do a boat ride, but you know what? I feel like that doesn't fit, right? So maybe we go old school and we do like a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride kind of ride. Like really old school.
Okay. So not even trackless car ride, but a track car ride, and not even Omnimover. Like this is predating everything, like a Funhouse ride. Okay.
Kind of like that, right? Where, because again, those rides lend themselves to a certain amount of chaos too, right? Even though you're on a like a track, right? Like, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was just that. It was, you felt like you didn't know where you were going to go next, even though there was a well-defined track, right? But
and it's very tight moving too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you could have it where you could, like you said, because I actually thought of the same thing, Trevor, too, where it's like at a certain point, you have to get to the part in the story where Donald loses his temper, right? And then you have to speed away from that, right? Like, or run after him or something. Like maybe he like freaks out and runs after Chip and Dale, and we're running after them to help Chip and Dale.
Oh, yeah. So you get like the imprints through the wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as like developing this of like, what that would look like, like you said, I wasn't even thinking the woods. I was thinking more like I was going to the same kind of thing that you're talking about though, right? With Chip and Dale harassing him and us kind of moving from scene to scene of Chip and Dale, of different scenes of Chip and Dale doing something to Donald to annoy him. It's funny because one of the cartoons I remember from like childhood, like that I remember seeing, it just stuck with me. And I don't know if you remember this one, but where Donald is like a construction worker and he's got his big like he's got like the big machine that does the digging, and he's trying to remove the tree that Chip and Dale live in. You never see this one? And I mean, it's one of my favorite ones, but like, I feel like you could do a scene of this, and really just make it like an homage to like all of those old cartoons. Kind of like you were saying, but like it just kind of going scene to scene through those. Cause that one, if you saw that one, what happens is Chip and Dale, at one point, they're trying to stop Donald, obviously, from taking down the tree, right? And at one point they disassemble the entire digger machine, right? and so of course Donald gets very angry. And then another time, one of my favorite things that they've ever did that was really funny was they fool Donald into running up a ladder that's made out of dynamite.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm remembering this now. So it was like an old. Okay, yeah. So I was thinking of some of the newer ones where he was like on the construction site.
No.
This is like he just had like the old like backhoe, but it was like an ancient version of a backhoe that he was.
Yeah. But they of course they like made the backhoe into like it was like almost like a dragon. That's what it was at first, right? So yeah, because at first they made it look like a dragon, and Chip and Dale were like dressing up like they were knights and were going to to fight the dragon, right? So yeah. So and that's man, and so that's definitely one of my favorites from when I was a kid. And so that one always kind of stuck out to me because there's just a lot of funny stuff in that one. And a lot of really funny gags, and I feel like you could do a lot of fun things with it. Like I said, I mean, a ladder made out of dynamite. Like you could even end it that way, because of the cartoon, he like blows up and just goes, soaring across the sky, and then Chip and Dale dance around and they're very happy. So, but I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm just sorry. I'm kind of, I guess, jumping in on your design here, because I'm thinking about, like, I know you're talking about originally Mr. Toads, but the going up and down the ladder and all that, that actually lends itself closer to the Alice in Wonderland ride, which I know you haven't been on, but that one, it's the same type of ride, but it actually has levels to it, like it goes up and down inclines and all that, which. Yeah, the more I'm thinking about this, I'm better visualizing what you're talking about here, I think. And it's actually not as limiting as I initially thought it was.
Yeah.
Like there's actually a lot you could do with this.
Well, yeah, there's a ton of stuff you could do with it. Although I was just thinking to myself though, like, do you really want to end a ride about Donald Duck with him losing? Like, I feel like he needs to win, right? Like he shouldn't.
Is he though?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. And like all the old Donald Duck cartoons, he kind of does lose, right? Like,
yeah, like it always ends up, with like the, he's either like, ah, shucks, or ah, phooey, or whatever, right? And then
both of those times I thought you were going to curse, and I was like, oh no, please don't.
No,
you never do. No.
That's what Donald says. I mean. You can take it up with Donald, okay? I'm just quoting him.
No, it's fair. It's fair. You're that's totally true. Donald he's had a lot of great shorts. Like there were a lot of really good ones with him. Back in the 30s and 40s. And the 50s too, actually too. I think wasn't what's his name, Spike the Bee? Wasn't he introduced? Was that a Donald's cartoon that he showed up in first?
he was, or I don't know if it was a Donald one originally, but yeah, he has definitely been another adversary to Donald.
He has
in those old shows.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually kind of surprised neither one of us went with DuckTales Donald. That I'm just kind of surprised we didn't. I mean, we could have gone some routes with that one, I guess, right? I mean, he's just a recurring character in DuckTales, I guess.
Yeah, the thing is in DuckTales, he is actually just a supporting character. He's not main cast, because the main cast is actually Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Scrooge.
That's true, yeah.
And I mean Webby and Mrs. Beakley as well.
In the new version, of course, yeah.
The thing is you're right. You could have pulled stuff from DuckTales, but I think we're both on the same page here that a lot of the classic Donald stuff is really, really resonates more on just Donald. Like it's not or the newer Donald, like in DuckTales, like, they give definitely Donald a lot more dimension than, just being who he is. But, I think it's fair. We all kind of grew up with those classic cartoons, and I think the ride should be based on those, personally.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm trying to find the one that I've been, like, what the name of the one that I've been talking about is, and I'm having a hard time actually finding it.
Is it Dragging Around?
Is that the one? Did you just make that up, or did you look this up?
I've been Googling as you've been looking. I think it is Dragging Around. So DRAGON around.
I mean, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Look up Donald Duck Dragging Around.
Okay. I have to do that.
You'll probably.
But it's funny. I've watched it I've watched it a bunch of times. I just don't remember the title of it.
I never really thought about these, but my Google foo is strong, so I found it relatively quick.
It is Dragging Around. Yes. Do you remember this one?
I do actually. Yeah. Yes. I've seen this. For me, like, and I guess where all of my reference comes from is, when I was a kid, we would get you would rent the videotapes of, like, it would be like Disney shorts, and it would be a bunch of shorts on a VHS tape.
Yeah.
And yeah, like this was one of those shows that was in there. Like you just watch all, and I guess it was almost the equivalent of like the Wonderful World of Disney.
Yeah.
The Sunday night show that was on, right? Like these were the same kind of shorts that were in there. So yeah, they would just be
on too.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember where I saw these, because obviously they were from the 50s, and I didn't grow up in the 50s, right? But obviously they showed up somewhere at some point. So because I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was, between renting the VHS tapes of different, Disney shows and Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights, I think I've seen probably the vast majority of these Disney shorts.
There was also there was a lot of good Chip and Dale ones. There was one where he was making, for some reason, like peanut butter out of acorns, where Chip and Dale start stealing his peanut butter, his roadside stand. There was another where he was planting acorns in the woods. He was like a park ranger. That one with the train is called Out of Scale, by the way. That one, Chip and Dale like set themselves up in one of the fake houses that Donald has set up around his trains, and then Donald starts kind of torturing them. So, yeah.
You know what the most classic one is, though, or one of the more classic ones is, or no, wait, maybe that wasn't a Donald, or no, was there? There was a Christmas one with Chip and Dale. There was the Christmas one with Mickey and Chip.
You're talking about the Mickey's Christmas Carol one?
No. There was one where
there, yeah, for that.
No, there was one with. I thought there was a Christmas one with Chip and Dale. Why? Never mind. I'm putting these together.
I'm not remembering this. I'm not remembering.
The one I was thinking of was where Chip and Dale were in the Christmas tree that Mickey cut down.
Okay.
And so he goes and cuts down their tree, brings it home as his Christmas tree. And then Pluto is getting all worked up because Chip and Dale are in the tree messing with everything, and Pluto keeps seeing them, but Mickey doesn't realize that Chip and Dale are in the tree.
Okay, got it.
You don't remember that?
I do not.
Wow. Okay. I guess it was only me that watched that every year for like 10 plus years of my life.
No, I don't remember that one. It's funny because Wikipedia points out that Donald Duck has actually been in more attractions than Mickey Mouse has. Which, like, because of like the ones we talked about, right? He's got PhilharMagic. He was in the Grand Fiesta Tour. He's in Small World in the updated one. So there's a bunch of different things that Donald's been. But this is Wikipedia. I mean, I don't know if it's actually true or not. I haven't counted.
Yeah.
I haven't counted how many Mickey's in and how many Donald's is in. It's probably pretty close.
Oh no, wait. There was a Christmas one with Chip and Dale and Donald.
Okay, what was that one?
It was called Toy Tinkers. I'm just looking.
Oh, you know what? I think I do remember this one. Yeah.
Yeah. This was like they were using the toys to fight one another. Like they were having their usual at war.
I've seen this one. Yeah, I've seen this one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I wasn't imagining.
No, you weren't.
I was actually
making
thinking
this
of
up.
a different one. Yeah.
No, you weren't making this up. This is legitimate.
So there you go. So actually, for my whole proposal, because you're using all those old, because it's a trackless ride and they can, usually mess with different variations on it. You could have the Christmas overlay version of it, with, Donald versus Chip and Dale with the Christmas toys and everything. So there, I've also think about the seasonal overlays for my
the seasonal overlay.
Yeah. We're going next step on our Imagineering here.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, having been on Mickey and Minnie's, I feel like he doesn't really feature in that ride. Daisy features more in that ride than Donald does. I'm trying to remember if he's even in it. I mean, he's in it somewhere. Like, I think he's in it just, doing his like spinning arm thing that he does and stomping on the ground and, face getting red kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like just the incidental, like he got
really mad about something. Yeah, he got really mad at something. Who knows what. So, but that's all I got. That's all I got on this one. Do you have anything else?
No, I think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did good. I think we both had some good, interesting concepts for it. And, even though, like you said, Donald has had more appearances in rides, I think he could do quite well with his own exclusive ride.
Oh, I don't totally think so. Like, people love Donald. Donald is a very popular character. I don't think he's more popular than Mickey, but out of I was going to say out of like the Fab Four, like, is he above Minnie? Probably not.
He's there as a foil to Mickey, right? Like he does cause some conflict between him and Mickey, right? There's some back and forth, even, in the old Mickey Mouse Club, the opening theme, right? They go Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, like,
yeah, that's true. I keep saying Fab Four, and I mean Fab Five, by the way, because I'm forgetting about Goofy. But I mean, Goofy's
and Pluto,
pretty. But. Yeah, and Pluto too. Yeah. I knew Pluto was in there. Yeah, but it's kind of good. Sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, I think you're right. Mickey is definitely the more popular character, but yeah, you know what? I'll agree. I personally like Donald more than Mickey in a lot of scenarios. Like I guess, but I think part of it too is, I think Mickey is a little too popular sometimes. So
is that what Donald, it is? Yeah. Is you just you want to go with the popular one?
Yeah. Mickey's, it's kind of boring to me because he is the popular one and it's just, it's the obvious choice. And that's all the more reason to pick Donald Duck.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It makes sense. So that's, why don't you go ahead and can you wrap us up like you usually do for our podcast? Can we do that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can try that. So let's see if I can do it without the rundown.
I mean, we've done this enough times. I feel like
you would think that, but I don't even know if I feel I'm like having an out of body experience sometimes when I do this podcast because I don't remember what I did.
Yeah,
it just kind of happens. Yeah,
I think all we really need to do is mention our social media and tell people to review us. That's all I think we need, right?
All right. Well, here, let me try this. So as usual, if you guys want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. Send us your questions, trip reports, any of that kind of stuff. You can find us on social media as Welcome Home Podcast on Facebook. Same thing on YouTube. Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. And also check out our Facebook group, the Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. And if you want to support the show, go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com. Check out any of our merchandise there. And if you like Patreon, go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of supporters we have there that come with exclusive merchandise and also give you access to the Discord server. Are we going to ask for? I
think we should always ask for reviews. Yeah.
If you want to leave us a review, check us out on iTunes or Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review, and we'd love to see any reviews that you guys do have for us. We do like seeing the feedback. And I think that's about it.
Well, yeah. And, also, though, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us, of course, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app out there. And I don't think we need to do the rest of this.
Yeah, this isn't an official thing, so you don't need to consult DVC or anything we talked about today. We're just unless you want to message Disney and say, when are you making that cool Donald Duck ride that I heard about?
Yeah, they don't take suggestions on these kinds of things, so
maybe we can start something. I don't know.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. This has been The Waitlist.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.